Rays 2026 expectations must be placed within the context of the AL East.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Rays podcast. Locked On Rays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. And we are Kevin and Ulises.
And we are lifelong Rays fans who have been podcasting about the Tampa Bay Rays since 2019.
Later on today's show, the Rays 2026 promo schedule features many highlights. In a few minutes, the trade market for Shane McClanahan could heat up at the end of this season. But to start, let's get realistic about win totals.
Under 80 wins is the realistic expectations for the Rays in 2026. We've got a question from an everydayer club member, Rodney Key West. He says, or rather Rodney in Key West.
Yeah, maybe Key West is his last name. The way he wrote it to us was Rodney Key West. He didn't include the comment. So I don't know. I'm going to make the presumption that he is situated about 6 hours south of us.
There you go. Rodney K. Dubs says the Rays are ranked number 23 in Fangraphs power rankings, projected to win 78 games. Hand on the fire. Are you taking the over or under today? Kevin, what say you to Rodney KW?
Man, I really want to change my guesstimate following the Nick Martinez signing, but I am going to take the under, the slight under, 76-77. And part of my reasoning for that is I fully expect the Rays to make several trades near the deadline. And I think that's going to handcuff them a little bit towards the tail end of the season. Furthermore, we must look at the AL East and how difficult and challenging that is. And I would think if all those teams are in contention for a title or a wide open wild card spot, they will probably make some additions at the deadline and boost their roster. So Rays stock goes down later end of the season. Other four teams in the AL East, stock goes up in the later portion of the season. That's kind of how I measure it today, with the caveat that it seems like all these baseball websites undervalue the Rays. They always lowercase the win total from what it usually is.
But last year,
it might be kind of close.
But last year, I think they had it right on the money. They were like 79, 80 wins, and well, the Rays did not deliver anything more than that. So look, I feel like there's two ways to tackle this, Rodney. Number one, my realistic opinion falls like you, Kevin, 76, 77 wins. It's bleeping February 12th. I want to believe in something. Let me believe in something. Yes. Let me just wear rose-colored glasses, at least for bleeping February. Makes me want to say, well, this team isn't bad. This team can have some surprise and
momentum. It could go on a run. They could go on a
run last year.
7 run.
People, don't forget, they went on a run last year. The problem was that they did exactly the opposite of that right after. 25-9 became a 9-25. That sucks. But do they have another 25-9 in them? Maybe they do. So there is always that. That's why they play the game. 162 games. Now, having said that, if my green Skittles are on the bucket, if my hand is on the fire, like you said, Rodney, yeah, I'm going to go with my realistic expectation that they're probably going to go under 78 wins. But just like you, Kevin, I think 76, 77 is probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at it from this point of view. We've seen quote-unquote fire sales at trade deadlines before. Lux could be gone. Mullins could be gone. Martinez could be gone. Matt
Yandy.
could be gone.
Yandy.
Yandy could be gone. And he might be packaged with a starting pitcher for a big haul. So that's what has me a little bit leery, especially, they might be around 500, a couple games under 500 at the trade deadline, and then they cut bait on several guys, and then you're in a downslide from there and just playing young, inexperienced players.
Let's talk about the AL East, though, and this surprise. Maybe the Rays are one game over 500 in July.
Right.
What about that? This could happen because we have seen it with other teams in the AL East in recent years. They could still be last in the AL East with being one game over 500 because what the Blue Jays have done and what they did in the offseason. You know about the Orioles reinforcing themselves. You know about the Boston Red Sox reinforcing themselves quietly.
Yes.
And then the Yankees are bleeping getting Rodon and Garrett Cole in the middle of the season as oh, by the way, we're back. It must be nice to get Garrett Cole out of nowhere to give you some production. So that could very well happen. This team could be good, but is it good enough to beat its AL East context?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, so if we look at the spring training power rankings 1 through 30, the Rays are 23rd, sandwiched between the Athletics at 22 and the Guardians at 24. Jose Ramirez must really love Cleveland is all I'm saying. But you look at the teams in the AL East, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Orioles. Fangraphs pretty much says they're all top 10 teams. So
that's who you're fighting 13 games against each of those teams. 13.
And just to quickly recap, I mean, you can say, the Yankees didn't really do much of anything this offseason. But to your point, Ulises, they're going full bore and having Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon back.
They had the best offense in baseball last year with in OPS, at least. I think home runs too, but OPS
don't fix it if it ain't broke.
They'd have the same team again. That team won 90 plus 94 games last year.
Yeah. And then you look at the Blue Jays. Oh my gosh, they lost Bo Bichette. Well, they added Dylan Cease and Akamoto and Ponce and some other guys as well. Oh, the Red Sox lost Bregman. Well, they upgraded pretty much every other point of their roster with Sonny Gray and Wilson Contreras and Ranger Suarez, and the list goes on and on. And then we know the Orioles just went out and wiped the floor with hundreds seemingly in getting Alonso, and of course a couple former Rays players and Shane Baz, Zach Eflin, and some other minor moves there. So we say all that to say that it is going to be tough this year for the Tampa Bay Rays.
And I don't think it's only us that has this opinion within Locked On Rays community. I'm putting up on YouTube a comment by Bruce Mihalik. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He says, you guys are optimistic. 70 to 75 wins, I think, is their ceiling. So are you guys like Bruce? And you think that we are maybe being too optimistic with 76, 77? Are you on that camp? Are you on our camp? And you think 76, 77, 78 wins seems like it? Or are you on the other side of the bucket and you're saying, why are you being this negative on bleeping February 12th? How do you not believe in Steven Matz? How do you not believe in Jake Fraley? How do you not believe in Cedric Mullins? How do you not believe in Nick Martinez? How dare you think that Junior Caminero is not going to hit 60 home runs this season? How dare are you even Rays fans if you don't believe that Yandy Díaz is going to be a silver slugger in the DH position? God, bleep it. Maybe you're in that. Maybe you're in the bucket. Let us know.
Could be in the bucket. I will say, even if the Rays have a difficult season, to put it mildly, we're still going to have a lot to talk about just based on the sheer number of moves, trades, and transactions. Because things go south, man. Who's this new prospect in single A that we're getting? Let's talk about him. That's what we're going to have a lot of.
And again, like we've said multiple times during this offseason, the storylines are going to be good. And there's another storyline, Kevin, that could be popping up later this year because trading Shane McClanahan, we cannot rule out that possibility in 2026. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a local expert, start to finish, without the stress or the guesswork. They handle everything. To the W-2s, to self-employed forms, they do that. They work for your every deduction. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. Thank you so much for listening to Locked On Rays and making it your first listen every day, and for making Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast in the galaxy. And if you want to enjoy this podcast with no ads, no interruptions, well, you can do that by becoming an everydayer. Join the Everydayer Club. $5 every month, and you can check out more of what you get, including a members-only Discord channel at lockedonrace.supercast.com for more. Kevin, our second mailbag. Well, don't put it past the Rays to eventually sell high on Shane McClanahan. This question comes from longtime listener Charles McGregor, and I believe a Locked On Rays fantasy baseball champion. He says, "Hey guys, I wanted to get your thoughts on whether this might be Shane McClanahan's last season as a Ray. We all know that this is probably Yandy Díaz's final season with the team, but do you think the same logic applies to Shane McClanahan? Specifically, if he has a really good year and he looks like his old self, do you think the Rays will look to unload him, knowing he is entering the more expensive years of his arbitration and may have a small window on a good trade return? Thanks for the great show and covering this depressing offseason for the Rays." Thank you so much, Charles. What say you, Kevin?
Yeah, it is interesting. Good point by Charles McGregor, longtime listener, and we appreciate him. I don't think we can take anything out of the question with the Rays. This is an organization that's traded Blake Snell, that's traded Tyler Glasnow, that's traded David Price, that's traded so many other known quantities like Randy and Bilal and Isak, and the list goes on and on. They're not afraid to trade an ace. They're not afraid to trade their best player. Like, really, the only guy that is exclusively untouchable right now on this roster is Junior Caminero.
Yeah.
Outside of that, all bets are off. And I really wouldn't blame them if Shane McClanahan, and we're hoping he has a strong bounce back season. And if he does, maybe the Rays do win more than 78 games. I think we're taking some of the Shane McClanahan equation in our win-loss totals here, but they might look at it and say, just to Charles's point, that he's going to get more expensive. We don't think he's willing to take a deal, a team-friendly extension, like 3-4 years, like Yandy Díaz or Drew Rasmussen, to buy out those arbitration seasons and give up a year of free agency. I mean, we've known from pretty much the onset, the get-go, that Shane McClanahan eventually wants that big payday based on what he's done previously. So I really do think it could happen, assuming that they are comfortable and confident with the next wave, that they believe Brody Hopkins is going to be a star, that Joe Boyle is going to be reliable, that Ian Seymour is going to be reliable. And there's some other names that you can input there, but I'm almost 50-50 on what they'll do with Shane McClanahan, whether they would keep him for another year or ditch him if he has a standout 2026 campaign.
So he's in his second year of arbitration in 2026. The third and last year will be 2027, and then he becomes a free agent. So it's right about that time when you can, think about that. And I think something that we should say is also that he's a 1997 boy, and that means that he's 28 years old.
Okay.
So 28, it's going to be 29 next year for his last one. So he's going to sign his free agent contract between 29 and 30. I mean, he will start the season when he's 30. So I don't see a a Rays team-friendly extension with Shane McClanahan. I really don't. I think he's the kind of guy that, like David Price, like, I'm going to wait it out and get my money because
he wants glass now money. He wants to be traded to a team contingent. They will give him a multi-year deal.
Which could be the Dodgers, right? It could be the Dodgers. So, I don't see the team-friendly aspect of it. Now, if I don't see the team-friendly aspect and I'm the Rays, well, you have to trade him.
Yeah, there's no choice. Yeah,
there's no choice because you're not doing anything this year and next year, like World Series wise. You're not.
Right. And that's my point here. Can we put our hand on the fire that this team is ready for the playoffs in 2027?
No.
If they were, then sure, you keep them around. But if you're still in retool, rebuild, figuring things out with your young players, you're, in a sense, you're almost just kind of wasting a year with Shane McClanahan on your roster when you could extract more valuable and get those prospects or those guys that are in AAA that are ready to make a punch in the big leagues in 2027, 2028, 2029, and so forth.
But having said that, because of Shane McClanahan's injury, he has been a steady 3.6 million guy.
Yes.
Even if he has a fantastic season this year, folks, he's not going to jump to 20 million because one of the things about arbitration is that they look at that raise percentage.
Right.
And that raise can be just obnoxiously big unless you're a two-time Cy Young winner like Tarek Skubal and your team and your team tries to lowball you by like $12 million, right? So like he's not going to go from 3.6 to 20, so which would make him affordable for next year. So the Rays could potentially keep him and get another competitive balance pick in the draft when he signs with somebody else, or they offer him the qualifying offer and they get that draft pick when he signs. And you might say, well, what can you really get with that type of draft? Well, Shane McClanahan was exactly that type of draft pick when Alex Cobb denied the qualifying offer and signed with the Orioles. So there's a little tie-in with that. Having said that, Kev, I wouldn't put it past them to shop him around. And if he has a really good April, May, June, and the Rays are not having a good April, May, June, then you can really do something special here. But but even though the return could be special, like everybody and their mothers were all about the return for Shane Baz. My God, that's a haul. You got this, that. They were so good. Oh, my mind is getting blown from these prospects. There's so much. If Shane Baz can get you that, Shane McClanahan, I don't even want prospects. I want a gift.
You want a big leaguer.
That's a big leaguer that just made his debut, and we know he's going to be an all-star. That's the type of thing. If Shane Baz is going to give you like, oh my God, look at this prospects, then I want Shane McClanahan to give me, no, this is your starting second baseman. This is your starting center fielder. This is your starting catcher who's going to be an all-star. Like, that's the type of thing I want.
We don't want Jacob Melton. We want Randy Arozarena from 2019.
It's something that is going to be even better than that, honestly. I want something that's proven that is going to work. I know it's very difficult, but when those types of guys are, and that's where Shane McClanahan,
like a nice 1-for-1 deal or 1-for-2 deal instead of the Blake Snell 1-for-4 prospects that don't pan out.
I mean, Shane Baz had one guy that hasn't even played in a professional game yet.
Not yet, but it's coming. Evidently. On that note, I do want to mention Kyle Snyder is saying good things about Shane McClanahan, saying he's, quote, looked really, really good this offseason and is being totally built up to start with the expectation he'll be in Tampa Bay's rotation for what it's worth. All right, we'll close things out, shift gears. The Rays promo schedule is out, and it has us salivating. Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast and making us your first listen of the day. We appreciate it. We are, of course, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network out there. The new Rays ownership hit it out of the park with their promo items. At least that's what people are saying and suggesting and believing. We got a final mailbag question from @RaysFan_1998. The new ownership / leadership team has a background in minor league baseball and promotions. Do you think they did a good job with their 2026 promo schedule?
Well, thank you so much for that question, RaysFan1998. Well, if you're on YouTube, you get to, see the whole promo list, promo schedule with us.
Yes.
Kevin, do you want to run?
Let me run through these for people that aren't watching on YouTube and just listening audio only. And I'm not going to list all the dates, but basically from April to September, this is what we have going on: a schedule magnet, a Tropicana Field Tour tee, a Tropicana Field light up replica, Jonathan Aranda bobble, Caminero City Connect bobble, jersey jacket, Chandler Simpson bobble legs, Longoria snapback, Longoria bobble card, Devil Rays retro snapback, Raymond shoulder plush, City Connect patch button up, Flappy Boy bobble, Devil Rays windbreaker, and Devil Rays hockey jersey.
Just bravo. Just
they passed the smell test for Ulises, and Ulises is all about those promo items. He's all about the bobbleheads, the hats, the shirts, the bats, all of it.
Guilty as charged. I love it all. I've seen little iterations of them, like what they're going to be. And the Tropicana Field t-shirt looks awesome. The Tropicana Field replica, light up replica, looks awesome. The hockey jersey, I don't even like hockey. And guess what? I want it. I need it. But I don't know if those are some of these are going to be like for kids, like 14 and younger. So might have to shave our beard there, Kevin, in order to color the grays a little bit to be able to get them. But the one that really got me, because it's so cool, it's the Chandler Simpson bobble legs. Like that is great. Using just your noggin and just thinking
that's the minor league mindset of we have to create and develop and foster something cool.
And that was it. I mean, using his speed with the bobble legs, that's fantastic. I think that one takes the cake for me. But honestly, I want a lot of these. I don't know how you feel, Kevin.
Yeah. No, I think they're all pretty good. I mean, the schedule magnets, whatever, you kind of have to give that out on your home opener just so people have it and can put it on their fridge or a utility item or whatever it may be. And it's always, hey, you got to throw in some sort of jersey or jersey. You got to throw in some sort of bobblehead, and you got to throw in some kind of hat. But I think I really liked how they give kudos and recognize Tropicana Field. Like, hey, we're back at the top. This kind of puts a stamp on that and how far we've come from Hurricane to now we're playing in this thing again. And then, of course, with Evan Longoria having his ticker tape parade forthcoming this season, you got a couple promo items for him. I think they did a really good job. I mean, really all the bobbleheads look cool. I think the bobble card is a pretty neat idea. The hats look cool. Everything looks good. You hope it's just, made of somewhat decent quality, because a lot of times promo items are of crap quality. So hopefully they go above and beyond in that respect. The other thing I want to note here is, and I presume this is the case every year, in order to do some of these promo items, you have to have a partner, a corporate sponsor attached to them. Bobblehead brought to you by Dex Imaging, T-shirt brought to you by Florida Power and Light, schedule magnet brought to you by
Morgan Auto Group,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I think it got me thinking that you hope they're able to tap in and leverage and continue to build those relationships with the power players in the Tampa Bay community to help with the stadium footprint and the redevelopment footprint. And you hope all goes well. And maybe taking an odd guess here, but maybe one of these, you go on the Rays website, look at all the businesses and companies and organizations that are partnering for these giveaways. I would not be surprised if one of those businesses or companies has the naming rights to the new stadium.
Yeah, could be. And we've also heard that there will be a patch for this season. Finally,
Yes.
we're going to get the unveilment of that. We don't have it yet. So when we do, we're of course going to talk about it and make a segment for you guys. But yeah, we want to hear from you. What is your favorite 2026 Rays promo item? I think they killed it, but I am going to take the Chandler Simpson Bobble X because it's somebody that needs to be highlighted within the fan base, and thinking outside the box and being creative with that and his speed. I think that was that was an inside the park home run.
Yeah, and you know that Chandler Simpson will be on the team until at least June 27th to ensure that promo item goes without awkwardness. Same thing with Junior Caminero and Jonathan Aranda. That means they're sticking around. I don't see anything Yandy related. I don't see anything McClanahan related. And why would you? Because McClanahan hasn't been on the field the last couple of years. But that's also something you have to think about. Usually, as you get later on in the season, you don't see names attached. You're not going to do a Yandy Díaz bobblehead giveaway in September. Just saying. So that's a little food for thought for you. Put it in the comments what your favorite is. I do really like the Longo snapback with the number 3.
That's pretty cool.
I think it's like a ribbon hat of some sort, and we'll try to gather and collect that. On that note, we hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and want to remind you to be one of the first to join the Everydayer Club to get this show ad-free without interruptions and exclusive access to members only Discord. Stay safe, and we will talk to you on Friday.